And the Dodgers are undefeated since Clayton Kershaw has been put on the DL. Is this a new recipe of winning for the Dodgers? Of course not. We'll talk about if the Dodgers can survive in Kershaw's absence this week on Dodgers Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Come in on a little Jimmy.
Oh yeah, always. Especially apropos with tomorrow being on Nature's birthday, the 4th of July. We hope everybody's going to have a safe, fun time out there. From all of us here at Dodgers Wrap 360, alongside Joshua Gershon, I'm Mike Conley. Guys, thanks for tuning in for another edition with us. Dodgers,
strong week.
9 straight home wins. I think there's something like 25-5 in their last 30 at the Ravine.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It is.
After starting 6-10, I believe, to start the season. So they've turned that around, and it's actually become somewhat of a tough place to play. It's good to see.
It is, and it was nice to see a nice sweep of the Rockies, something they should have done. That was nice to see.
That was good to see, And, taking 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee, you gotta like it. I mean, that's 3 out of 4. Oh no, because of that Pittsburgh win. So this has been a nice week, a 6-1 week for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
they were able to stave off that sweep in Pittsburgh with the win in the finale there on Monday in that odd Friday to Monday series for some reason. And then they 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee, laid 1 egg up there, and then the sweep of Colorado. You gotta love it. I mean, and what you gotta love. Apparently, we've been talking about this a lot this year. Apparently, if you carry a baseball team for a whole half season, you can hurt your back.
Yeah, it looks like it. It was funny. I commented because my wife and I were on vacation last week,
right,
and we stopped in a bar to watch the Dodger game.
Of course.
And I commented to her as we're watching the game. I said, there is something wrong with Kershaw. I said, there's something wrong. She's like, he's not pitching good? I said, no, he's not pitching good, but there's something wrong. He doesn't look right. And you could tell he was overthrowing, his ball wasn't moving, and you could really see it when he couldn't get the pitcher out, when it was like a 9-pitch at bat to that rookie pitcher from the Pirates.
Right.
You could see why is he laboring so much on this? He should blow this guy away. He should have blown this guy away 5 pitches ago. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And you could see the way he was laboring that something was wrong.
Yeah.
And now it's the minor herniated disc.
Knock on wood. I mean, there's really no timetable set for his return.
They think at least a month.
Yeah.
Probably a little more. Probably about 6 weeks. Luckily, you got the All-Star break in here. It takes away some games.
Exactly. So looking silver liners wise, it's never a good situation where you lose your number 1 starter, absolute horse who you've been relying on,
and the best pitcher in baseball. We've seen Arrieta struggle a lot in his last few games. I think that's a little karma, much like the Warriors with them talking, he's such a robot and such a cyborg and
Warriors
and this and that, or his PEDs is wearing off. I keep throwing that out there.
Wow.
Only because he was so bad in Baltimore.
Yeah. That's true. Maybe you can say something coming to the lesser league hitter-wise, but there is something to it. The guy's pretty shredded.
Well, I always joke, but it could be a hitch in the mechanics, as we saw with Bud Norris. Nice acquisition this week.
Huge acquisition.
Yeah.
And, we got some belated attaboys that we didn't get to last week. Excuse me, Josh, to cut you off. But Kenley Jansen becoming the career leader in saves, number 163 versus the Nats last week, and that eclipses 161, which was Gagne's record. So, attaboy to Kenley on that. Who would have known? A converted catcher.
I know.
I was the all-time leader at saves.
I was at that game too.
Nice.
That broke my losing streak at the stadium.
Really spent time. And today, this date in 2004. Eric Gagne got his 84th consecutive save. And
I was there for that too.
Right. Nice. And then that was broken. He didn't quite make it to 85, and he didn't get 84 more with the Dodgers if he stayed at 161. So Kenley goes right, and also Chase Utley, 1,000 runs in the big leagues. So that was impressive.
He's a Hall of Famer, right? Is Utley a Hall of Famer, or is he one of those borderline guys, like a Jeff Bagwell kind of borderline?
I mean, is he going to get 3,000 hits?
I doubt it.
Yeah. And what's he got? One championship ring?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's tough. It's hard to say.
Tough.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I mean, where's he on the career hit list? Is he like? I mean, does he have like 2,500?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if he's that high.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. That's tough. Fantastic pitching performance today from
Brandon
McCarthy. I mean, and just how these starters have performed since Kirsch got put on the DL. It was announced. I got a few numbers here. The Dodgers starters, 23 innings pitched, have given up 1 run for a .39 ERA, 32 Ks, and 4 walks. So that's very Kersharian right there. The fact that 8-to-1, ratio, Kirsch is even better than that, but just not walking guys, not even allowing too many hits, and just impressive all around.
Yeah, in fact, the Rockies were 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position, I think, in these 4 games, which is the only 12 in 4 games in the first place. That's not too bad. And with that lineup, I mean, you got, Story was out, but you have, the third baseman who, Arenado.
He struck out like 7 or 8 times in the series.
Yeah, he did.
And he's not a guy that strikes out.
But he has not hit well at all at Dodger Stadium this year. But you got Cargo, you got Blackman, you got a lot of decent hitters on that, and they just, whatever, they came to Dodger Stadium this week, and it was a void for them.
Yeah. Well, you take them out of course, and their collective batting average goes down about 70 points, But, so you were going to get into it, and another attaboy this week, I think, goes not only out to Bud Norris, but also out to Andrew Friedman.
Yeah.
I mean, for him to get a caliber starter like Bud Norris for 2 relievers and to get it like that, I mean, that's really impressive. And even like earlier this season, his, snagging Casey Fiend. Yeah. I mean, he's proved to be a good member of that bullpen, and a relied upon, trusted member of the bullpen now. I think he pitched the 7th today, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny because my friends and I joked that Friedman kind of treats the team like a fantasy team. I mean, if you really think about it, he brings up guys, he drops guys. I mean, he pays Crawford to go away, pays Guerrero to go away. It is kind of like a fantasy team for him in a way. The way he picks up and drops guys, it's they signed that Yasiel Sierra to a $30 million deal, and now they outrighted him.
Right.
Hoping someone picks him up off waivers. Because I guess in Single A he was not performing. So
it seems to me they could have gave him a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, that's what you would think.
Wow.
But here they're just it's crazy. But hey, Bud Norris was I think a sneaky good pickup because he struggled at the beginning of the year. He was struggling a lot. Then he adjusted his pitching. He stopped throwing his
change. I think. Yeah.
He ditched his changeup for a cutter.
Right.
And that was the big move. And since he returned to the Braves rotation and now with the Dodgers, he had a 2.15 ERA in 29 innings. Yeah. I thought it was a sneaky good pickup.
Definitely
and
good
he's
pickup.
Cheap.
Yeah.
And his option was cheap. They had to take Toscano, I believe, was the guy they had to take, and they have to pay most of his deal, but he'll never see the majors anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Was he on for a big number?
I think it's like $3 million or something like that for the Dodgers, which for the Dodgers is nothing.
Right. And we gave up a lefty and a righty reliever. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I gave up 2 relievers. There's not much book on Pfeiffer, one of the guys they gave up.
Paul Pfeiffer from the Wonder Years.
Yeah, for the Wonder Years.
That's awesome.
He was a 3rd-round pick, and he did okay. Reliever, 2.67 ERA, and single and double A. I think the Braves were looking at Caleb Dirks.
Right.
Was the their, I think, prize in this one.
Because they had him before, right? He came over in what trade last year?
Like, when they traded the third baseman, Oliveira.
Right.
The Uribe Oliveira trade for Peraza and...
right, Peraza. And we got, like, Avalon in that deal, right?
Yeah.
And, like, Jim Johnson. Right?
Ian Thomas came in that deal, who they also outrighted today.
Okay.
I forgot who else they got in that deal. Yeah, but he came over in that deal. So he goes back to the Braves, the team that drafted him. And he kind of was a beast. He was 35-7 strikeout to walk ratio, 1.44 ERA, all out of the pen. He's a bullpen pitcher, and he projects to be a pretty good setup man. So I think that's who the Braves were kind of coveting on that one. But the Dodgers have such a plethora of pitching in the minors right now. I think they can kind of do this, where they can kind of, all right, he's projected to be a setup man. We can let him go.
Yeah.
Just when you got De Leon, you got Montez, you got Cotton all down in AAA. I mean, I think you can afford to mess around a little bit.
And, maybe you can get rid of a guy who projects as a setup guy, if, we got a Julio Urias, filling that position maybe later on to kind of slow his innings, although that's some of the speculation. He's been great. He had a great week. He got his first win, his first hit, his first RBI, all in one game. That was great to see.
And he is pitching Tuesday or tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I think he's going Monday for them. So, he's probably going to stay maybe this one and one more turn. We'll see.
It depends on Ryu.
Okay.
Ryu, they think, could come back next week. He did hit 90, 91 on the gun today, but he's still only averaging 86, which isn't far off from what he was doing before. So, it's curious to see how he comes back. I mean, I don't know if we can expect the way. I can't believe McCarthy pitched that well today. I mean, he looked great.
Incredible.
And he's at 8 strikeouts today in the 5 innings.
8 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Yeah,
right. 2
hits. He looked amazing today.
Amazing.
I mean, he looked good when he got hurt. He was 2-0, I think, until
3-0.
3-0 when he got hurt.
But his ERA wasn't that good. His ERA was almost 5, I think.
But I mean, today he looked good. I mean, Norris looked really good. I loved the Norris pickup. I thought that was
loved it
to fill a void that you desperately need. I mean, the Dodgers have a starting rotation on the disabled list.
Right. That's true.
Like, and actually a pretty good starting rotation on the disabled list.
Yeah. Well, now that Kersh's on there. Yeah. You can put Kersh in 4 Little Leagues and, look like a pretty good staff. I mean, McCarthy was great. I mean, how Scott Kazmir the other night, 6 innings, 10 Ks. I mean, nobody tell him that the calendar says 1-6, not 0-6. Yeah. I mean, he is just like, he's kind of recapturing that form he had a couple years ago with Oakland when he was an all-star. Well,
he did something interesting before that start. He pitched a simulated inning with hitters before he started the game. And because his struggles have been in the first inning. So he pitched that, and they had a lefty. They had the same lefty, righty, batting. And he says, hey, it seemed to help him now. He's going to do it again before the next game.
I love that. And you look around the league, that's probably something that's going to catch on if he has success with it, because there's a lot of pitchers in the league that have that first inning trouble.
In fact, Ryu's even one of them.
Yeah.
Ryu used to get in trouble usually in the first 1 or 2 innings, and then he would settle down.
Right.
I think it is going to catch on, especially if he has success now going through this season doing that. Because he said it really helped with placement. It really helped him get his placement good.
Just have his command earlier in the game.
Yeah. Even though he did hit Blackman to lead off the game. But after that, I think he struck out the next 2 guys. So, he said it helped him a lot with just getting his placement and everything ready for the game.
Right.
So, it may mean he pitches 1 less inning, as we go along. But if he's going to give us 6 innings like that every time, who cares?
Right.
I mean, that was what Greinke. That was what Greinke was giving you. That's what he was. He only went 6-7 innings, and he usually it was a shutout.
Yeah.
So if Kazmir can give you that 2 runs or less in the 6 innings, you're getting exactly what Greinke gave you.
Yeah.
For a lot less money.
And I mean, the way the pen's going nowadays, it's like it's a joy to turn it over to them. You know, the way they've been performing. They had kind of a rocky first month of the season, but since that, they've been one of the better bullpens.
I think they're the best in the National League right now, actually, in the pen.
ERA wise.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
we wouldn't have thought that at the beginning of the year.
No, not at all.
But guys have emerged. You know,
the hitting is coming around. Puig, since coming off the DLs, hitting 382.
Nice.
Had another hit today. I think he had a hit and a walk today.
Yep.
And that's the big thing. He's been seeing pitches more.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw an interesting stat today. Trace Thompson, he was only 1 for 4, but saw 24 pitches.
Wow.
In those 4 at-bats.
Wow.
You know, Seager, I mean, we can't keep saying enough about Corey Seager here.
Oh, man.
I mean,
so good.
16-game hitting streak. He's hitting over 300, 17 home runs. You know, just...
It is an absolute travesty that he isn't going to start at shortstop in the All-Star game.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because Russell, I think, got the votes. Addison Russell.
Well, you know, the Cubs are the popular... Although, you know what? The Cubs are struggling a little bit right now.
They are. Coming back to the pack a little bit. And they have some questions in that pen.
They do.
And at the back end of the rotation.
Oh, yeah, because Hamill has not pitched well. Lester and Arrieta got hammered. Well, Arrieta, 4 runs. That's not getting hammered. Lester gave it, 8?
Right.
I think 8 runs in his start. You know, it's...
you know, all is not rosy on Waverly, you know? Oh, man. Is it Waverly or Waveland? I think it might be Waveland.
Waverly Place was the Disney show, right? With, was it Demi Lovato or Selena Gomez? It was with one of them.
That's why I got it confused, obviously. But I mean, like, you know, I gotta just dwell on this Norris thing for a little bit, and Friedman being able to get him for that, because a month from now, when the deadline is upon us, you know, there are not even 3 weeks. You know, guys like frontline stuff. I mean, I envision Bud Norris. When Bud Norris is going good, he's like a number 2 starter or number 3 starter.
Yeah, he's solid when he's going good. Yeah,
and like what a number 2 or number 3 starter is going to get here in 3 weeks is going to be much more than 2.
Oh yeah, I mean there is rumor.
Relievers.
There is rumor he's pursuing Friedman's pursuing Archer, who's not having a great season for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
There is a rumor they're pursuing him, but that's also they're not going to give up a lot to. Friedman's not going to give up a lot to get him, but Friedman's familiar with him because I think Friedman drafted him.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where Friedman's coming from. Yeah. So.
But other than that, I remember reading that Friedman. Yeah, the price is going to be high. For a frontline starter, the price is going to be high in a couple weeks.
It is.
You know, and this Dodger upper management's not going to give a high. They're not going to give. I mean, look, they sat with Peterson and Seager last year. They didn't go after Cole Hamels or David Price.
Yeah.
You know, they sat with who they had. You know, they're not going to give up stud prospects to go snag a, you know,
Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you may give up if they could give up. I think if they can get away with giving up a Jarrell Cotton, maybe a Frankie Montez, maybe they might do that.
Right.
You know, because it essentially would feel, because Archer's pretty young, right? 26, 27. He's still relatively young, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. He might be not even 26 yet.
So I think they might be willing to part with maybe a Montez, but...
Yeah, I mean, and he's controllable for, you know, a few more years, too.
Yeah.
And he's good. He's just having a bad game. Obviously, if anybody's going to know how good he is, it's going to be Friedman.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that is just looking like a fleecing right now by Friedman, getting that for 2 relievers because, like I say, in a few weeks, guys that are worse than Bud Norris are going to get a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. No, this was such
just supply and demand.
I think this was such a steal. I mean, I even if he pitches, you know, with a 3-something ERA the rest of the season, that's still solid. That's still a number 3 starter right there.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously he's not going to deal the way he was dealing the other night every night, but I mean, if history shows the way he was pitching after he rejoined the rotation, he should be a great starter.
Yeah. Hopefully, you know, and that's what you got to look at is when you're in this supply and demand where there's going to be so many buyers looking for pitching, you know, and the cost is going to be through the roof because there's little demand. This is bringing you back to like microeconomics 101. But you know,
I slept through every econ class I ever had. Why do they teach that class at 8 in the morning? That just makes no sense.
When you're fresh, and you know, now, I mean, for them to get him for that, it's just it's going to look even better here in a few weeks. But, oh, man, I tell you. Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. So this is really when your scouting department, earns their keep.
Yeah.
Because you got to look for these guys that maybe 3 weeks ago, dropped their changeup and added a cutter, and they have had success. Those are the guys you got to look. They're starting to go up on the line graph.
Exactly.
But you can get them for a reasonable price.
Yeah, and I think especially with all the injuries, this is just going to be huge. I mean, one time we had a plethora of outfielders, which we do not have anymore.
It's true.
With Peterson and Kike Hernandez going on the DL, that it's. I mean, the fact that they had this kind of week. I know it's only been a week,
right?
But with all this going on, it's pretty remarkable, and they've been scoring.
Yeah,
which is
Well, what's great is the young guys who are kind of keeping us afloat offensively. Now the old guys are coming back. I mean, Turner's been absolutely scorching since the calendar hit June, and HK47, he's kind of coming back a little bit. He's like hitting close to 400 over the past couple of weeks. Agon's, after he got his 2 days off that he has to skip for, he's been raking and doing great this week. Which
Agon, normally an Ironman, I think you're going to have to see that more often. He's going to have to take a couple of games off.
Yeah.
To keep his swing.
I mean, in this day and age, like you're Iron Man if you play over 150 games. Nobody's playing 162 anymore.
No.
If there's one, record that I can say with all certainty will never be broken, it's Cal's streak. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's so out of reach. Somebody's not even going to get to 1,000.
Oh, yeah, I know. I completely agree. That's much like in football. I can't see Brett Favre's starting record.
Yeah.
Just as a professional quarterback, just to not get hurt.
Well, pretty soon the quarterbacks will be wearing red shirts, just like in practice. So I don't know. Maybe someone will break that one. They're always upright. But I mean, Puig is definitely. It reminds me of kind of how he started the season. Those first 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, he was hitting to all fields.
Yeah.
And maybe didn't have that much pop, but was like. He's got to get in his mind like I'm going to be a doubles and triples machine.
Yeah, because the home run, he's got enough power where the home runs will come.
Exactly.
But if he just needs to get wood on the bat or wood on the ball. That's all he's got to do.
Yeah.
I actually I went to when you were gone. I went to a Quakes game to watch him in rehab.
Oh, nice.
And he walked 3 times. And I was like, well, he went 1 for 1. He had 3 walks. And I was like, oh, that was something that even in the minor leagues, you're like, well, you don't really see. You think Puig would go up there hacking.
Yeah.
Being at single A, he's just going to go up there and hack. These pitchers, haven't faced anyone like him.
Yeah.
But no, he was taking pitches.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was actually impressive to me that he was sitting there taking the pitches, and it seems to have translated. Maybe he just needed that time to kind of find his swing again a little bit. You know?
And I'm sure he was sent down there with, specific instructions on what exactly we want to see out of you. And, it's good to see that because, he is a guy that hacks a lot at the first pitch.
Yeah.
So it would be nice once the book gets out on him and they throw garbage to him if he could take those.
Well, it's nice to see because when I did the show with my dad, we talked about how, maybe he needed to revert back to who he was because maybe too many people were in his head, and that's why he was having trouble swinging the bat.
Right.
So maybe he needed to go back to that first pitch swinging.
Yeah.
But it seems maybe he kind of found maybe he just needed time to regroup, find the groove again.
Yeah.
Sometimes you guys need it. Last year I thought about that for Jacques when Peterson struggled. Well, one, they kept him in the leadoff spot way too long last year.
Yeah.
But I thought, maybe he can go to AAA and kind of refine his swing a little bit, and then you bring him back up to the majors.
Yeah.
But everyone, it's going to hurt his confidence. It's going to do that. To me, if you're a professional, you should know what comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me.
But it also I kind of hear what they say a little bit, where, could hurt his confidence. But, if you can wrap it up in kind of a DL thing and it's kind of a rehab thing that he's come back for. Oh, well, he's rehabbing from, in this case, the AC joint, the bruised AC joint, whatever, and then kind of get him his work there. Then it does save a little face for the player and you still get that work down the minus.
Which that was a great catch he made when he got
great
hurt.
catch.
Oh, my God. The amount of ground he covered, to make that play. And he, even though he was hurt, he had this frame of mind to try to get the ball out of his glove to throw it.
Yep.
I mean,
and that's probably an inside the Parker if he doesn't make that play.
Oh yeah, probably.
And that ties the game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he saved that.
Saved it for Urias, right? Urias.
It was that was a great catch. I mean, he did go full speed into that wall, but luckily nothing broke. So I'm hoping that it's just a short stint on the DL. Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a blessing, it kind of coincides with Trace Thompson getting hot again.
Yeah.
You know, and like he's really been a guy that, you know, really was on the bubble of making this team at the beginning of the season, and now he's got like 13 homers. He's like the third in rookie behind Seager and Story, you know, for most homers by a rookie. And you know, he's starting to rake again. I think he went deep today, right?
Yeah, he did. He went 1 for 4, but like I said, he saw 24 pitches today.
Yeah.
So even going 1 for 4, those are productive at bats. You know, that's, you know, you can't. It's home run. I don't mind that. I'll take that from Trace Thompson every game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, it's. That versatility is gonna come in handy now, because like you mentioned, you know, kind of overshadowed by Kirsch going on the DL. You know, Jock went on there with his shoulder issue, and today Kike went on.
Yeah, rib inflammation, something with his ribs.
It sounds like he's from the Frankie Montas school of having the rib issue. Jeez. So now like an area that once was stocked at the beginning of the year,
it's a little thin now. Suddenly.
Yeah, it's a little thin now. We got like an infield who's going to be our everyday left fielder. It's not like now for the foreseeable future. You got Trace Thompson, a guy that maybe it wasn't even going to make the team as he's starting center fielder, and then you got Puig and right, but. One thing, Puig too, you know, he just has these mental lapses. Like today on second when he got doubled off.
Oh,
did you see that play?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Oh, man.
You got to take the good with the bad. It's just going to happen.
I guess so. And yeah, it's cool because like they're winning, so I guess you can kind of pull him aside as Agon's did. Like when he got in there, it was just like, you know, he's like, what? And he kind of like pointed at his feet, like, where you going? If he misses it, it's right there. He's going to throw you out. You know, it's like, oh. And like, Puig's, it doesn't seem like it's landing. He's in there like, you know, that's the discouraging part. But he does have such a high ceiling, talent-wise.
Well, in some ways, he reminds me of Manny Ramirez.
Definitely.
I remember, you know, good friends of mine, Red Sox fans, they're like, They loved Manny when he played for the Red Sox, but they're like, he was this guy who he'd be given an interview, and all of a sudden he'd be like, "Oh, look, a bird," and he the lose track of whatever was going on. And I feel like Puig's like that sometimes.
Oh yeah,
you know, like, oh, what's going on over here, and he just loses track of what he was doing before.
Oh yeah, it's Manny being Manny. It's just Puig being Puig. Yeah, Yasiel being Yasiel. Oh man. So yeah, Brandon McCarthy, what he did today was just unreal.
It was, and he looked really good. His ball was moving.
Definitely didn't look like a guy that hadn't pitched in 14 months.
Yeah, exactly. He looked great. I mean, I mean, we can't, like I said, can't expect this every time.
Right.
But if he's going to give us 5-6 quality innings, you know, a start, then what more could you ask for?
I know.
I mean, right now this you know, this starting rotation's been thrown together.
Yeah, no, starting rotation thrown together. You're right.
You know, they're just like Bud Norris. They're just finding pieces, picking them up. They're, you know, bringing guys up, sending guys down. I think Brock Stewart already went back down in the minors.
Oh, okay.
Who, you know what, actually didn't pitch that bad.
He didn't pitch bad. He had that one rocky inning, and then he kind of settled down a little.
And he still had 8 strikeouts. In that game.
I was hoping to see another start from him.
But was those two in the inning he gave up the 5 runs, I think, in one inning, or gave up 4 runs in one inning, something like that. Yeah. But the first 2 hits were kind of
bleeders.
Yeah, they a bloop and a bleeder. Both were 40 miles off the bat. You know, just kind of found the hole, and then Braun came up and did knock him in.
Yeah.
But you know, I didn't think he pitched bad at all. I was like, hey, this kid doesn't look too bad.
I was encouraged by him.
Yeah, me too.
I think he can learn a lot from Bud Norris too. You know, just a guy that, you know, doesn't throw astronomical, but is in that mid-90s, 94, 95, you know, and, you know, live on the corners, you know. And the one thing I did like, and, you know, attaboy for that Brock Stewart kid, because, I mean, he's definitely got an L.A. Hairdo and definitely an L.A. Name, Brock Stewart. And, I mean, it's just like, wow. And, but he like, attaboy to him, because he comes up, you know, pitches in single A, double A, triple A, and the majors, all like in 3 months.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's crazy. And yeah, and I am curious to see what they get out of him. I wouldn't be surprised if he got back up. I think Stripling's throwing again.
Yeah.
In AAA. He was hurt there for a little bit down there.
Right.
So now they do have some options in case something else happens or if Kirsch is long term.
Right.
Where I don't think they have to make a move now.
Right.
At the deadline. I think the Bud Norris move is kind of their deadline move. I don't really think they have to make a move now.
I agree with you.
They could, depending on if Kirsch is going to be out longer than 6 weeks, maybe they'll consider it. But at this point, picking up Norris, I don't think they have to do anything. Yeah. Except maybe still add a bat for some consistency. But other than that, I don't think they have to add pitchers.
Yeah.
The bullpen, knock on wood, has been solid. I think getting Bud Norris and having options like Stewart, now hopefully Stripling, you got some options.
Yeah.
You still got Montes and De Leon down there who might come up, at the end in the September call-ups. Yeah. So, yeah, pitching is not the issue. It's been hitting, and they've been hitting this week. Yeah. Aside from the one game against the Brewers.
And we still think we might see some Ryu this year and potentially a Brett Anderson?
I don't know about Anderson. Okay. Anderson I'm more sketchy on because I don't even think he's throwing yet.
Okay.
Ryu, they say, or as early as this week, more likely next week. Yeah. So I'll believe that when
it takes a village. I mean, you're going to need everybody, it's a 162-game season. And the Dodgers right now are leading the majors in games lost to DL. Guys that have been on the DL. So it's
interesting note, that in the last 3 years, since 2014, 15, 16, at this point in the season, they have been 47 and 37 every time.
No way.
And have won this game.
Wow.
In each season.
Yeah. This puts them at 47-37 today's win, and that's their first time this season they've been 10 games over 500. Yeah. So step in the right direction. For the old Dodgers.
They cut it to 5 games behind the Giants. The Giants are slipping a little bit. Their pitching's kind of their starting pitching's kind of falling apart. Cueto got hammered this week. Samardzha's being Samardzha. I think his ERA is creeping up to 4. Right. That's Samardzha. I don't know what people were thinking when the Giants paid him all that money.
Yeah.
I don't know if they thought Righetti, the pitching guru over there, was going to, he's got good stuff because he does strike out a lot of guys. Yeah. But he also serves up a lot of
meatballs. I was kind of sneakily excited that the Giants maybe went on their hot streak a little too early this season.
I was hoping the same thing. Yeah. That was my...
Because Cueto's going to come back down to earth. Smadge's going to come back down to earth. I mean...
Peavy's not Peavy. He's had good games, but...
Peavy, I thought, was absolutely done, and he's actually looked pretty good his last 6 starts. I mean, he's a battler. Yeah. He's not 07 Peavy anymore. I mean, when the Red Sox got rid of him, I was like, I'm just excited we're getting more than, a bag of used fungos, But he actually, and I think it's the Bochy touch, He had his best years with Bochy, and, Bochy's getting something out of him, that 5th start spot. Because if you look at his last 6 starts, his ERA is like low 3s.
That's good for him.
Yeah, it's real good for him. So they're getting something out of him there. But I hope they're using up all their wins in May and June.
Yeah, me too. Because the wild card is going to be tough this year. You got the Mets, the Pirates, Cardinals, Dodgers all battling for that.
Yep. The Cardinals are starting, they just hang around and hang around. And now they're starting to play better baseball.
And right as the Cubs are starting to slip a little bit, too. Washington, I think, will wind up winning that East. Strasburg won again today.
Yeah. They pulled him. He had a no-hitter, and they pulled him in the 7th.
Oh, really? I just know he won. I didn't see that.
Yeah, no-hitter. They pulled him. I think his pitch count was like 107. So
that is high for him.
That is high. It was in the 7th. It's like,
and they just invested $175 million in him.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry, you'll have to get that. Maybe if we're in last place, we can have you go to 160 pitches. To try and get
in all honesty, I think it ruined the Giants pitcher Heston when he was a rookie. Threw that 150-something pitch no hitter. He has not been good since.
Yeah.
So maybe there is something to that.
Yeah. Maybe, they were just like, this kid, he's not going to be a major piece. Like, let's get him his career highlight. Let him get a no-hit bid. But, you got to be excited with the I mean, Seager's just unbelievable. I mean, if you are a little leaguer and are a lefty, you have somebody to mold your swing off of for the next, hopefully, 15 years in a Dodger uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid is smooth, and he's like smooth in, with the post game and the interviews. He's just so polished for a kid that just turned 22. It's just pretty amazing. You know who I loved his post game was Bud Norris, and he should be in charge of any of the youngins, like, and how they do the broadcasting, because he was great. It was like he was still on the mound. He still had his game face on. He's like, answering question. He's like, it was so awesome, and he said all the right things. He said we or us like 15, 16 times in his interview, and it was just great to see. He should be the liaison, the media liaison for all these young guys coming in.
The PR
For real. But I mean, I can't say enough about him, and I hope I didn't see the All-Star voting, but
I think he's still third.
Yeah,
because Trevor Story was ahead of him too.
Trevor Story was, yeah. And I'd be fine if Trevor Story got it. At least the guy got 19 homers. But I mean, it's going to go to Russell just because all the Cubbies fans stuff in the ballot box. It's ludicrous.
It is.
And it should be Seager. Seager should be stopped.
I mean, I think he'll still make the team.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah, but it would have been Jansen, Kershaw, and Seager probably for sure.
Yeah.
So now you just get Jansen and Seager more than likely. I can't really see anyone else.
I wasn't thinking about it, but Ned Coletti kind of put it in my mind this week in a post game. Libator.
I could see that actually. Yeah. What is he? He's under 1 ERA, right?
I think he's under 1. He's got like 16 straight scoreless appearances. He's probably got like, high 20s innings pitched. He's probably like 28 innings pitched. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It is, yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Him and Casey Fine have been, and Blanton have been really good out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Hatcher's still a little hot and cold, and I'm glad Baez doesn't seem to be part of anything anymore.
He seems to be wanting to put him in there though, in some high leverage situations.
The trouble is he only has one pitch.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps saying he's got good stuff, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years. I have not seen this guy with good stuff yet.
I've seen one pitch. It's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball right
down
the middle. I mean, the guy, he gives up a rocket shot. Like, it seems like every other appearance.
He does. He either strikes out the side or he gives up like a 3-run home run. This is what he does.
Boy, Joe Blanton struck out the side today in the 8th. And it seems like that, and that's how it kind of went today once McCarthy gave his 5 innings of
and he reached
stellar.
And he was 100, right? I think he was right at 100.
No. He was way under.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he ended up at like 72 pitches.
Oh, wow.
So I was like half expecting him maybe to go out, but I think the idea of
49 for strikes on 72 pitches.
Yeah, that's great. And he threw 80 in his last start at rehab. So I was thinking coming into the game, they were probably looking at him going 85, 90 pitches today. So I thought they could have actually maybe ran him out there, but I think it was going so good after 5. It's like, and the bullpen's going good, and he does have confidence in all those guys. Like that, I think it came out Coleman, Fiend, Blanton, and then Conley.
Libator came out today.
Libator came out today. That's right, Libator. So no, it was Libator. So yeah, it wasn't Coleman. Coleman was warming at one point, but he's also kind of in the circle of trust. And now guys that you thought were going to be in that setup role, Hatcher and Baez at the beginning of the year, they're kind of almost like behind guys now, But
well, we keep expecting. See, Baez, I just don't expect a lot out of. It was the same thing. I hated Jonathan Broxton when he was their closer because he was another one. If he didn't come in and throw strikes, he was going to give up runs. So if his first 2 pitches were balls, you were in for a long night with him. So Baez, he's like, to me, he was always the new Broxton. Hatcher was the one I thought would come around.
Yeah.
And he did at the end of last year. He looked really good, at the end of last year. And this year, so they started him in the setup role this year because he pitched really well at the end of last year, and he never really came around. He just still struggled. I think he gave up a run yesterday when they brought him in. He gave, was it yesterday? The day before?
Right.
He just hasn't, I don't know. I don't know what happened. He just hasn't looked, and he was the big get in the D Gordon trade.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we say, it's a 162 game season. You know, there's going to be some bad times for relievers. There's going to be some good times. You know, Liberatore and Blanton, they're going good right now. They could have some downtime, and hopefully guys like, you know, Pedro and, you know, Hatcher
it ain't gonna
maybe
be Pedro.
have their
It needs
good...
to be Hatcher. I have no confidence in Pedro Baez.
He's got such a live arm, you know?
I know, but that's all you hear. But
I know.
Like, I remember when Gagne came up, you know, because they tried to make him a starter at first, I remember.
Right.
And then when that didn't work, but, you know, Gagne had a live arm. Guy was throwing 100 miles an hour. But then he had a 70-mile-an-hour changeup that he could throw out there.
Right.
I'd like to see Baez just have one other pitch.
Right.
Just give me one other one. You know, just one. I feel like, you know, hey, Honeycutt, go teach him how to throw. Just one more pitch.
Right.
And then you mix the 97 with a curve, a changeup, you know, something.
Cutter.
Yeah. All of a sudden, he looks a lot better. That's what they did with Jansen.
Yeah.
Jansen threw hard, and they taught him how to throw the cutter.
Yeah.
You know, Mariano Rivera, that was his best pitch, was the cutter. You know, it was unhittable.
Look what it's doing for Bud Norris.
Yeah, exactly.
Bud's learned it pretty recently. Maybe he can help out Pedro.
It's just you just give him one more.
Ooh, one
It
more.
doesn't seem that difficult, especially considering like guys like Kershaw seem to learn how to throw another pitch every season. They add another pitch to their arsenal.
Right.
You know, so why can't this guy just learn one more for his whole career? Just learn how to throw one more pitch.
It doesn't seem like we're asking too much, Pedro.
I don't think
You
so.
know, honey, earn your keep. Okay, you don't have to coach up Kershaw. So, you know, allot your Kershaw time to Baez.
Well, I give Honeycutt. I will give him credit. I think
this is a first.
I think the simulated game was actually his idea
Okay.
for Kazmir. I believe I read that it was like them working on it together. So I have to give him credit for that.
I think I heard John Hartung suggesting that in the post game. I don't know. It was like Kazmir's last thought. But you know, maybe Honey was listening.
So you know, maybe he, you know, every now and then he does something good. Who knows?
Well, today's win over the Rockies completed the 3-game sweep. That's their 4th win in a row and 6th win out of the last 7. 9 straight at home they've won, the Dodgers. And now they have 7 straight at home going in to the break.
Yeah.
We got 3 with Baltimore. Go Dodgers, go. And we got 4 with the Pods to lead up there. So
Baltimore's a tough team.
They are.
That's a tough lineup to go through.
it sure is.
And again, Urias going up against another beastly lineup.
You're talking about a kid that's really getting a baptism by fire out there this year, you know?
I mean,
he's faced some sick lineups.
you know, now you got to deal with Machado and Davis and Jones and that. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Jones is just starting to get going. And Trumbo, who's like one of the leading home run guys in the American League this
Which I don't
year.
get. This guy's been passed around from team because he always hit home runs. That was, but the issue was, you know,
Kind of health.
health, and he struck out a lot and didn't. Not unlike Adam Dunn, he didn't walk a lot.
Right.
You know, Dunn, you know, strikeout, home run, walk, but he always did one of those 3 things. So his on base percentage was actually pretty high.
Yeah.
Whereas Trumbo was just kind of strikeout or walk, and right now home run or strikeout. Now he seems to just be kind of home run.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like 24 bombs. He hit one today. Yeah, it's definitely a formidable
Are
lineup.
they still in first place?
Yeah. Or, even though they just got swept by the Mariners, but the Red Sox were not playing that well right now, so they're still in first. But yeah, I would love to see the Dodgers put a hurting on Baltimore this week. That would be very nice to see. And you got fireworks after tomorrow's game.
Oh yeah, well, you get them every Friday.
Oh, Wednesday's a day game.
Oh, is it a getaway game?
Oh, you might have to take me to that one. Huh?
It depends if we're in this. We're
Calling
not
sick to work.
We're not in the sun till about 6th or 7th inning.
Oh boy! There you go. That'll be Bud Norris too. Urias, the kid, is going up, and you know you can't say enough about Kenta Maeda. Another great start by him this past week, and you know just everybody. And you know if there is a time in the season to, I guess, lose your stud, it's probably now. You know, like you said, you have the break to kind of not have games during that, and it was about time to see what kind of team you're going to be. You know, because you know they were like 15-2 in Kerr starts, and then like 7 games under 500 without him. So it's good to see, is this a team that's going to rally around together and be able to show up and be more of a team and not just a one-man team.
Yeah.
But,
and I think it's good too that they caught it at this homestand as well.
Absolutely.
You know, that's not too bad either. You know, you got this nice long homestand, again with no days off.
Yeah.
Which weird that this happened a couple times now during the season.
Yeah, there's some odd scheduling things that I'm sure the players are going to take issue with in the next collective bargaining agreement, anyways. But you want to say anything before we sign off?
No, you can reach if you want to get at me. You can tweet me at Gersh13.
Yeah, tweet them up.
Don't confuse me with the college recruiter, but scout, college basketball scout of the same name. Much like, hey, you got excited. You're the highest paid player in the NBA right now.
6 years, $153 million. Wasn't me, family. Wasn't me. Stop hitting me up for loans. Anyways, all right, that's it for Joshua Gershon. I'm Mike Conley. This has been another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360. Go Dyers.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.